Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first class in our five-part class of how to use the Lego Studio made by Bricklink. And this is a free program that allows you to use the vast library of Lego bricks that Lego has to basically create whatever you want. It, like I said, was made by a site called Bricklink. They are a Lego website that promotes user ideas. They can you can upload your own sort of ideas to this and have people see them, and you can see other people's ideas. There's also a place on here to buy bricks, and this is one of the most popular sites to buy new bricks and used bricks. So if you have a project that you want to build, like a big design, you would go onto a site like this and order your parts from a Lego marketplace. They offer the studio as a download, and it is located in their studio section where it says download here, and this is where I found this program. You do need a Windows or a Apple computer. This program does not work on Chromebooks or tablets or phones. It is a very powerful, very basic tool for modeling, and this is why I wanted to show this to you, because this is a really good way to get young people into thinking about designing on a computer. It gives you all the basic tools that you would see in a professional piece of software, and surprisingly very easy to use, which is great for learning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you around the program for this first class, and then for the rest of the classes we're going to get into actually making different objects, different sets and stuff. So first off, you can see that I've got a pirate ship loaded in here. This main window is called our workspace. This is where all of our bricks will come together to make whatever object we're working on. I'll be referring to it as the scene or the workspace. This is basically what the program will look like when you open it up. If you don't have anything built, obviously it's going to be blank, but you can rotate your image in 360 degrees all the way around, up and down, by holding the right mouse button and simply moving your mouse as you hold the right mouse button. It'll allow you to move the scene around and move the camera, because basically what we're using is like a camera, right? And then to move side to side, you can hold down the Shift key on your keyboard and drag the mouse, and this will pan or move the view. And this is a very important, well, all of these moving tools for the view is very important, because you're going to be having to move around the scene quite a bit to see all the different angles. And manipulating the view in a program like this is very common in a lot of design programs. So in the last one, of course, is zooming, and you can zoom by simply scrolling on your mouse wheel. And I do recommend, if you're using this program, to use a mouse. The trackpads on laptops are notoriously awful for manipulating programs like this, unless you're really, really good at it. I've never had much luck with using a trackpad and working in a space like this. So I highly recommend even a cheap mouse. It doesn't have to be very expensive, but I would strongly urge you guys to get a mouse if you don't have one, to work in a program like this. Okay, so that's our view sort of movements, and those are like the three basic key things that you need to know about this program, really, because that helps you see everything. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to run through sort of how to build something very, very simple, and in the process of that, I'll show you all the little tools and tricks that you're going to need to know to continue to build things, okay? And then next class, I'll show you some more advanced techniques, okay? So let me start a new file, and if you have a file open like this, you can simply click this little plus button here up at the top here. These are all tabs of things that are already open. Just like if you were to open a page on the internet, you can open up multiple pages in like tabs. So we're going to go up to File, New. You can also, of course, do that from that plus some, but you know, File, New. It's going to make a new scene. This is what they always look like when they open up. This grid here is set up in studs. So when you place a brick on it, it'll actually snap to the studs as if this was a plate that you were trying to build something off of. So that's really, really useful, especially when you start to build things. You want things spaced apart, right, and everything. So again, we can move our scene around by holding our right mouse button and our left mouse button to move like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you over here. This is another important area. So there's two sides to this thing, and then there's this top part here. So this top part here has all the tools that we use. There's the select tool, the hinge tool, the clone tool, hiding, connect. So all of these I'll go over in detail throughout the week, but you can sort of explore what all these do. The select tool will allow you to select by color, by type, you know, which comes in handy when you have a lot of stuff on your screen. And then of course there's the hinge tool, because a lot of pieces in Lego have hinges on them, and you can move them from one angle to another angle, kind of thing. And then these other ones we'll go over later. Okay. So the most important thing and the most fun thing about this is the library, and this is crazy cool. They've got I'm not gonna say every brick, most bricks are in this, and this is what we call the master palette. I like to refer to it as the master list or the master catalog. It is organized by category, which is up above this window here. You'll be using this a lot. This is very, very useful to sort of search. Think of this as a wall of Lego organized into bins that are nicely labeled, something that I've always wanted. Instead of having to dig through a box, right, of trying to find all the bricks. So this is all your categories. Obviously, you've got bricks and modified and slopes and plates and tiles. And if you keep scrolling, you'll see doors, windows, objects, vehicles, windscreens, animals, plants, minifigs, bunch of minifig stuff, obviously, because they're pretty important in the Lego world, and electric, all kinds of cool things. You can really play with every piece that they offer. And they have all kinds of really cool stuff. Like there's all the plants and everything, and all of this can be dragged into this scene. So like, for example, if I wanted to make a flower, like a plant, like a classic Lego flower, and I'm going to explain to you how I'm doing this in a second. I just want to show you sort of what you can do with it. Okay. So that was just 3 little flowers on the stems like that. And all I'm doing is I'm clicking and dragging pieces in, okay? So for instance, I can bring this in here and I just click and I drag and I click again to release it. Now, when you're dragging from the palette, it's gonna keep making more of them as you drag around. So you can right click to deselect it, okay? And then to delete items that you don't want, you just press the delete key after you select it. So you click on it and a blue box always comes around it and you just click on delete. Very, very simple, okay? What if you want to stack bricks on top of each other though? So of course that's the main part of playing with all these bricks, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you sort of a step-by-step on how to build a little mini micro house, okay? We're going to start by going into our bricks section here in the master list, and I'm going to go down and I'm going to search for plates. So plate is right here. I'm going to go into here, and these are all the plates, and they call these plates, but they're the flat, thin parts of Lego. Okay, so I'm going to grab a plate that's 8 by 8, and that's 8 studs by 8 studs. They always refer to the pieces by the number of studs they have on their edges. Okay, so like a standard brick is a 2 by 2 brick, or like a 1 by 2 brick, or so on and so on. So this is an 8 by 8 plate, and I'm sure if you have your own sets of Lego at home, you probably have a couple of these at least. What I'm going to do is this is going to be the base plate for our little house that we're going to build. I'm going to make it green because I want it to be like the yard of the house. So to change colors, by default, all of the pieces in the master list are always white, but you can change them. You can change their color so you can see what each piece looks like in a different color. And this little white box here, if you click on it, it comes up with a little menu. You can select any color you wish to see what it looks like in that color. It's not really that useful in this part, but if you come over here, you have a similar sort of thing. So this here is the color palette, and this is what color this piece is right now, and that's showing that it's white. If you have this piece selected, then this little drop-down menu here will show you what color it is right now. So right now it's white. If you open up that box, it'll give you all the colors that Lego makes, all the different shades, and there's hundreds of them. There's all kinds of different colors. So I'm looking for a green, and you can make this list here smaller by going over here and just selecting the color category. So like you want the greens or the yellows or the oranges because they have different shades, right? Just like if you were to paint or something. So I'm going to go into green, and this is going to give me all the different shades of green that they make. Okay, so I'm going to go with bright green. And as long as I have this piece selected and I select a color over here, it's going to change that piece to that color. Okay, so that is our little yard that we're going to build our house on top of. Now, I'm going to go back over here to my master list, and I'm going to go up top to where it says brick in the categories. And I'm going to go to brick, and I'm going to go down here. I'm going to find the standard 2x4 piece, just the regular big old Lego brick. And what I'm going to do is you'll notice when you bring a second brick into the scene, it'll want to fit on the studs where it's supposed to go, right? But sometimes you'll notice that it goes clear. And that's because it's not sitting properly or it's intersecting part of another piece. And you're going to see this happen quite a bit. But for the most case, if the brick is supposed to fit, or if the brick fits in the real world, then it's going to remain a actual color instead of just going clear. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to place this brick in the middle. I'm going to do one, and then I'm going to do another one beside it. So 2 bricks, just like that. Okay, and I'm going to deselect. So it's going to look just like that. 2 simple bricks side by side with an even amount of space along the outside edge. So 2 studs spacing all the way around. Okay, then I'm going to grab that same brick again, and this time I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. Now, we haven't shown you rotating yet, but it's really easy. The arrow keys on your keyboard, you can click the side arrow keys, the left and right arrow keys, and it'll rotate it 90 degrees clockwise and counterclockwise. Okay, the up and down arrows rotate it upwards and flip it around. Okay, so right now what I want to do is I want to make my brick 90 degrees to the other ones. I'm going to stack it on top, just as if we were building a piece of tower or something of Lego where we're stacking the bricks to make them nice and strong. Okay, I'm just going to do 2 in the opposite direction, just like that. Okay, and then the last thing I want to do is I want to do a 5th brick, and I'm going to lay it across the top, just like this, just so that it makes it nice and sturdy. Okay, so we're making a nice and strong little brick house, just like that. Okay, now the snapping is really cool because it will snap to any spot that it feels like it can connect to. Okay, so it might take you a little bit of practice to get it to get it to where it wants to go, but eventually, if it's supposed to fit, it'll fit. Okay, so next thing I want to do is I want to do a roof, and I want to use the slope pieces to make up a roof. So up here in our categories, we have a category for slopes. If you click on that, it's going to give us all the pieces that have a slope on them. And I'm looking for the 2x2, and then the larger version of that, the 2x4. I'm going to grab a 2x4 slope, and I'm going to go like that. And I'm going to have it so it hangs over the side like that by 1 stud. And then I'm going to turn around the model by using my right mouse button and moving the mouse. And I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to do that so it's kind of an odd shape, but we're going to overhang it by 1 and 1 there. Then I'm going to go up and I'm going to grab the 2x2 slope, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fill in the studs there that are overhanging. So I'm going to match it. And you can kind of probably guess what I'm going to do next. I'm going to continue going up the roof with the opposite. So I'm going to overlap the smaller brick with the big brick, and then go over here and overlap the smaller brick with the big brick, okay? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, obviously, my 2x2, I'm going to put it there and there, okay? Now, this is looking more like a house, but it's not quite done yet, and we got to add some color to it. So what I want to do is I want to make the roof red. So I'm not going to select any bricks right now, but I'm going to go up here to my word that says white there, and I'm going to select the red category. I'm just going to pick just a standard red. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to this little tiny paint stick thing. What's the word? Paint roller, a paint roller. And we're going to grab that, and what's going to happen is your mouse turns into a little paint thing. And then you just click on the bricks that you want to paint. It's as if you are painting them with paint, okay? Really easy. Another way you could do that is just by selecting all of the bricks that have to do with color, or all the bricks that you want to change the color of. So to do that, all you would do is you'd click one, and then you hold down the control key. The control key is that CTRL key on your keyboard. If you hold that down as you click, it will add bricks to the selection, okay? And then over here, you could go to your list and select red, and it'll change all of them over too. So that's another way to do it. And a third way to do it is, is to go up to your selection tool up here, top left-hand corner, and select by type. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it'll select all the pieces that are the exact same. This only works though if you don't have, if you want all the pieces to be the exact same color. So like for instance, this is all of the 2x4s and this is all of the 2x2s. So you could go like this and say, I want to make all of those red, and I want to make all of those red as well. Also, as you're adding color to your scene, the content colors will start populating the colors that you've been putting into your scene. So if you want to use the same red color that you use for something else in your scene, it'll be here, okay? Also, as we've been adding bricks, you've probably noticed that this list here is adding all the pieces that are in this scene. So this list here has to do with these steps. And I don't think we're going to get to doing steps, but what this does is you can organize all of your pieces into steps as if you were making instructions, because there is an instruction maker up at the top here. And it's a cool thing to do because you can sort of build your own instructions, and if you're really good with it, and you know like what piece goes where and what instructions, you can lay this all out and have it so that you could print instructions for that thing to maybe build with your own parts you have in your house. Okay, so that is that. I'm going to go and turn my selection tool back to just the default selector, and we're going to finish this off. So the last thing I want to do is I want to do a peak to this roof. So we've got some peak parts here. I want to grab this 2x4 slope that's on both sides, this one here, and I'm going to put that on top like that, okay? And then don't worry, we're going to change the color of it when we're all ready to go. And what I want to find now is an end piece. I want to do an end slope, and I want to do a particular one. I want to do one that has a point on the end of it, like this. Maybe not that piece, maybe this piece without the hole. There we go. So this is just going to do an end piece like that. And you guys can do whatever you like for this, but I'm just going to do a nice little detail piece here, okay? And again, I'm going to make these reds. I'm going to go up here to my paintbrush, and I'm going to grab that and just going to click and paint those ones there, okay? And that is it for the house. Now, of course, we could take this one step further, We could make the yard bigger. And I think I might actually modify our house here to change it to have a little chimney. I was thinking of that as I was building it. So what I'm going to do, now that we've got this built, I'm going to take this 2x2 piece, I'm going to delete it. So it leaves that opening like that. And the great thing about designing, I'm going to go up here to the bricks here, the top here. The great thing about designing with this program is the pieces won't fall apart. So if you start taking pieces out, the other pieces will stay in the same spot, and you can just bring pieces in without having to take things apart to redo it. So I'm going to swap out that red 2x2 and put in a white brick like that, and then another white brick to make a little chimney like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into my slopes and find a 1x2 that can fill that gap in like that. Okay. And then I'm going to change that color to red, right? So it looks like the chimney's sticking out of the house, but I'm not done yet. What I want to do next is I want to make a little bit of a smokestack, or like smoke coming out of the chimney. So I'm going to go into my plates, and I'm just going to grab this 2x2 sort of plate here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make steps, like smoke's coming out of the chimney. And I'm going to make these a dark gray color. I'm going to go up to my black and whites here, and I'm going to go to dark gray. And then because I've added it to my content color, it's down here now. So I'm just going to select, or I'm going to go, actually, I'll go with my paintbrush. That'll be easier. And then go to my dark gray with the paintbrush, and I'll just start painting these ones like that. And there's our little house with our little smokestack and chimney. Pretty cool, but I'm not done yet. I want to keep going. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to find another plate, a bigger plate. So this was an 8x8. If I find a 8x11, I'm going to make that, or even, yeah, I think that's as big as they come. And, well, there is one that's an 8x16. Yeah. So that's 8x11. And then I'm going to do an 8x16 because I can. And I'm just rotating it underneath to get the base plate to actually snap on. Sometimes they don't like, if you're looking at them from above, to snap to something underneath. You have to sort of manipulate the plates. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some different greens here. I want to take my green colors. I'm going to make a different shade of green for each level. So if that was a bright green, I'm going to go with a green color for this one. And then I'm going to switch it up and give it a dark green for this one. So it's like it's on a hill and it's going down, right? I'm not done yet. I still want to do another. I want to make a tree, and I want to show you sort of like how to do the trees using the plant pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a tree trunk with a round brick. These are just the standard round bricks. I'm just going to go like this and like that, and that's going to be my tree trunk. And then I'm going to make those brown. So I'm going to go up here and find, now brown is usually located in the orange ones. So I'm just going to go there and then there. And that's a tree trunk. So then what I'm going to do is, I like that so much, I'm going to go down and find the plants. There we go, so plants. And what I'm looking for is just the tree branch one. So like this one or this one. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and build a tree out of this. Let's see if this works. Oops, I think yeah, okay. Let's try this and see if I can build a tree. Kind of, oh, that didn't do what I wanted to do. And of course, you guys don't have to do this if you don't want to. This is just a little extra step I'm going to try and do to make it look a little bit more interesting. At the end of the week, on the 4th day, I want you guys to think about building and designing your own house. So this could be a cool little tip for you guys that want to, oops, I missed that a bit. These tree branches like to snap to all the different parts. There we go. There we go, like this. Okay. Ah, it didn't do it. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to grab a couple more. What I'm doing is I'm just rotating them 90 degrees for each one as they go up to give it sort of like a tree sort of spirally effect. And I'll end it there. Maybe it doesn't like me today. There we go. Sometimes the program will give you a little bit of attitude, but it's usually pretty good. There we go, we'll stop there. Okay, so there's our cool looking sort of Lego tree. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, like I did with the ground, I'm gonna change the shades of green. So I'm gonna take my paint roller and I'm gonna go dark green, and I'll paint this one and maybe this one and maybe this one. I'll do 4, okay? And I'll find another one, maybe on the other side, maybe this one here. I'll do that, okay? And then I'm gonna go with the regular green, just the plain green. I'm gonna go there, there, maybe there, and there. And then I'm gonna take my bright green and do a little there and there. And there we have sort of a very basic, very fun, simple house with a tree, okay, with a little chimney. And there we go. So to recap, I showed you guys this massive library of Lego, which literally has everything. Here's a little crab. Like you could spend hours just scrolling through all of this stuff. And some of these pieces you might have, some of these pieces you may have never seen before. So there's all kinds of stuff in there. I highly recommend spending some time to just play and pull things from that library and just see what they are. And then, so we built this house using the standard white bricks. We stacked them, and then we did slopes. We changed the color of the slopes to red using our different ways to change color, right? Like you can select a brick, go over here and set the color, or you can use the paint tool to paint the brick a certain color. So there's lots of ways to do this, and that's the same with a lot of design programs. There's always multiple ways to do things. So whatever way is comfortable for you is the way that you should do it. So and then we added some other plates to the bottom here to give it a little bit of a hill, and then a little miniature Lego tree that we built from scratch there with just the plant pieces. And of course, you guys can add to this and do something neat with it, but that's basically the program. The only thing I'm going to say at the end of this is really spend some time with it and explore. The really cool thing about this program is not only does it let you design things like this, but because this program is set up with Bricklink, the website, you can save your designs and you can upload them to your account. You have to set up an account with Bricklink, but what it'll do is it will then make a list for you of all the pieces in this design that you've made, and then tell you roughly how much it costs to order the pieces to build it yourself if you don't have any of the parts. But the other great thing is you could take that list and see if you can find some of the pieces in that list in your own collection, and then offset the list with parts that you already have. I've done this recently. I made a big project for my two little girls. I made a Lego height chart, and I think I have it with me. Let me see if I can open it for you and I'll show you. And what I did was I built a full-size height chart with, yeah, here it is, here. A full-size height chart themed to the Disney princesses. My daughters are really big into the Disney princess sets, so I took this program and I designed 6 castle towers, all themed to the different princesses. and I made steps in between that are 1/2 inch steps. So each step is a 1/2 inch on the chart. So I made this and I mounted it to a board in our house. And so when they turn a certain age, we can come up and we can check their height and we can mark it with a brick as they go up. So this got me really into designing with Lego. And I was able to take this design and pull out the pieces that I know I already have. Like we have some of the Disney Princess set, so I was able to pull certain pieces that I know that we have out and leave the ones that need to order in. And it ended up being, I had to order a lot of white pieces because I didn't really have this many. So I ended up having to order a lot of white parts to build the steps. But Bricklink with this program let me do that. It was very simple. I just was able to order it and it showed up in a couple of weeks and I built my project. So a lot of professional designers that use Lego, they use a site like Bricklink to order parts because it ends up being cheaper than having to go out and find all the sets that might have all these parts with it. So it's a really cool idea. You don't have to do that though. Like this design suite can work without that at all. You can just have a lot of really cool designs with it without having to buy parts. It's all free. And then tomorrow I'm going to show you another powerful aspect of this program. You can actually import sets that already exist. So you can enter in the unique set number of any set, and it'll bring in, it'll organize your library here on the side with all the parts that set would have and the amount of pieces that set would have. And then it would let you can build with those pieces, or you can build the actual set using instructions. So tomorrow we're gonna start to do that. And I think you guys are really gonna like that. But in the meantime, have some fun with the program. Don't be afraid to explore and to try things out. Honestly, that's the best way to learn software like this, is just to experiment and to play with it and see what things do. You can't hurt it. You can't really do anything wrong. The worst thing you can do is close it and forget to save something. So to save something, if you guys want to save that house that we were working on, speaking of which, there it is. To save it, we go up to File, Save As, and I'm going to call this the Lego Starter House. Lego Starter House. Okay. And that is going to be our class for today. Look out for the next video for day 2 and the ones after that. I will be uploading a recording of each day's project and having a discussion in that recording of some different aspects of the program, some design techniques, and so on. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.